Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. And tonight's Raw was from San Jose, California, at the SAP Center. And I thought tonight's Raw, I thought it was an okay show. I mean, it wasn't terrible, wasn't bad by any means, wasn't great, wasn't a great Raw, but it was just okay. It's just an okay show. But the show opened up with tonight, opened up with John Cena coming out, talking about WrestleMania. And, he says tonight he is, out there to face the truth. And he says in 2 weeks he has to win the Elimination Chamber match, because if he doesn't, he will, not sure that, he won't be sure that he will have a road to WrestleMania. And he also says, he will win the Elimination Chamber match and he will make history with Lesnar, in the main event at WrestleMania. And then, sorry about that, but we had The Miz come out, and he says to Cena that, it's the year for him, and he says to Cena that he is he says to Cena that he is the founding father of Suplex City, that, Cena is, the founding father of Suplex City. And Miz says he's going on to main event WrestleMania by beating Lesnar and, hopefully becoming a dual champion, which, who knows if Miz is going to be at WrestleMania, because, Maurice is expecting, their baby during WrestleMania weekend, around there. So who knows if, Miz is probably not going to win it. It's probably going to be, like everybody says, it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and then Roman's going to be the new Universal Champion. Who knows? But Cena says to Miz that, if the match happens with him and Lesnar, it could be Miz's last match. So, but Miz ends up saying that, he matches up more to Lesnar than Cena, and that if he wins in WWE, because he does, he says because he does the things that that he does, Miz, and he goes on to say that's why he beat Roman for the Intercontinental title. Cena says to Miz that he wants to take on him now. He wants to take on Miz now. And, he says that, the loser of the match, whether it be him or Miz, the loser of the match has to enter the Elimination Chamber first. And Miz says, why would he take a chance, at having the match? And you end up seeing the Miz Taraj, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, they end up being down on Cena. Kurt Angle ends up coming out, saying that he likes Cena's challenge, and and Kurt also says that he likes the idea of the loser going into the Elimination Chamber match first. And so then Kurt Angle then officially makes the match, and it's going to be Cena versus Miz. And then Kurt actually says, he's banning Curtis and Bo from ringside. So it's just going to be Cena and Miz one-on-one. And so when Raw came back from commercial, the match got underway. And the match itself, it was okay. John Cena got the win with the AA on Miz from the top turnbuckle. So Cena ends up winning the match, and so Miz has to enter the Elimination Chamber first. So, but the match itself, like I said, was okay. Then after the match, we had Matt Hardy end up cutting a promo. Says that he has a second chance to enter the Elimination Chamber, and that if he wins the chamber, he will turn the chamber into the Woken Chamber. So it was a pretty decent promo from Matt Hardy. And then we had Gallows and Anderson. This was when Raw came back from the commercial. We had a really corny promo with Gallows and Anderson, and they're showing the whole nerdometer thing, and they're talking about the Revival and say, oh, how they shut up the Revival. They end up calling the Revival nerds, and you just saw like a graphic of the nerdometer there. It was just so corny. So it was just that little promo from Gallows and Anderson. It was very corny. And then we got on to the other match. It was the Revival versus Gallows and Anderson. Before the match even started, the Revival attacked both Gallows and Anderson from behind. And the match itself, this was another okay match. Wasn't great or perfect by any means, though. But I like how the way I like the Revival. But they won the match. They ended up hitting the Shatter Machine on Karl Anderson to score the win. So, but match itself, like I said, it was okay. It was another okay match. Then we had Kurt Angle come out. He came out, to say that at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, Ronda Rousey will be signing her WWE contract. I'm like, what? Ronda already signed her contract with WWE. Now they're going to have to make her sign another contract just for TV? What? Man. And then he goes on to talk about the condition of his son, Jason Jordan. And he pretty much talks about that. And he said that Jason Jordan had surgery, and he will be out for WrestleMania. And the crowd starts cheering at that. And you kind of saw Kurt Angle getting a little pissed off with the crowd, chanting, and being happy that Jason Jordan is out, is going to be out. And he ends up saying to the crowd, for them to wish, wish Jason Jordan to feel better, get better. And then we see Seth Rollins come out, and he says to Kurt that he's coming out there, he's talking about WrestleMania, and Kurt wants to offer Seth another partner, and Seth didn't want to be partnered with anybody else, didn't want another partner. Seth tells Kurt that he doesn't want to be a part of Raw, and he wants to be Raw because he said he wants to turn the place into Monday Night Rollins, like how it was when he was when Rollins was heel. And Rollins goes on to say that he wants he wants Lesnar, and he wants the Universal title at WrestleMania. He also says to Kurt, that he wants to turn the second chance Fatal 4-Way match into a Fatal 5-Way match. Rollins wanted to be in this match, and so Kurt ends up saying to Seth that it wouldn't be fair to the other opponents in the match, and and Seth tells Kurt that he doesn't want to miss WrestleMania, because he doesn't have a partner. And Kurt ends up saying to the crowd, should he give Seth an opportunity? And the crowd is chanting, so Kurt ends up giving Seth the opportunity. So now it went from a Fatal 4-Way to a Fatal 5-Way match. So, but it was a pretty decent segment with Kurt Angle and Seth Rollins. It was decent. And then after that, we had Bray Wyatt cutting a promo, saying that Seth should not have a second chance, and the other participants in the match. He goes on to talk about them, and he mentions that Matt Hardy needs help and that he knows how to fix the other participants in the match. So, but it's a little promo. It was a little promo from Bray Wyatt. And the next match, it was Bayley versus Sasha Banks. And this was a good match. In my opinion, the best match of the night. And this was in this was in Bayley's hometown of San Jose. The crowd was behind her, of course. And you could tell that Bayley and Sasha, they both know each other well. How they do in ring, which we saw when they were both in NXT. They put on fantastic matches down there in NXT. But you had Bayley win the match. She hit the Bayley to belly from the top turnbuckle to score the win. So Bayley ends up winning the match, and there was a lot of rumors saying that if Bayley won tonight, Sasha might turn heel. They teased it a little bit tonight, but we didn't get it. We didn't get the Sasha heel turn because after the match, Nia Jax came out and just took out Bayley and Sasha. She ended up hitting both of them with a Samoan drop. And then, she walks up the ramp. She's being interviewed, and Nia says, over the past 2 weeks, both Bayley and Sasha have tried to decimate Asuka. And Nia goes on to say that in 2 weeks, she is going to end she is going to end Asuka's undefeated streak. So, but who knows if Nia is going to break Asuka's undefeated streak. Really like to see Nia win and pretty much Nia to become the women's champion, the Raw Women's Champion. But we all know it's gonna go. We all know it's probably gonna go to Asuka, or Asuka's gonna face maybe Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. So, but pretty much, who knows what's gonna happen. So, but all in all, Bayley versus Sasha Banks. It was a good match, and in my opinion, the best match of the night. In my opinion, just whenever you see both of them, in a match, have a match, it's really good. Both of them do good. And then we see Seth Rollins was backstage with Roman Reigns. Roman says he hopes to eliminate Seth again. Then we see Cesaro and Sheamus come and say that Seth possibly being in the chamber is another failed opportunity for him. And then they just joke with Cesaro and Sheamus, and there was Roman saying, or Seth said, "Oh, what happened to your teeth?" to Cesaro. But it was just that little backstage segment with them. It was okay segment. And then we had Renee Young interview Titus Worldwide, Titus O'Neil, Apollo Crews, and Dana Brooke. Renee was interviewing Apollo, of him going into this fatal 5-way match for a second chance to be in the Elimination Chamber. Titus ends up, telling Renee, to let him do this interview. So Titus ends up interviewing Apollo about the fatal 5-way, and Apollo was like, he is ready tonight. He's ready for this fatal 5-way match. So it's a little thing with them. It's actually, okay interview with them. Then we had Alexa Bliss backstage with Mickie James. Mickie says to Alexa, why did she save her last week? and why the both of them are tag teaming tonight against Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. And Alexa says that she wants to clear the air between the both of them, and that she only said the stuff about Mickie when Alexa called Mickie saying that she was old, and the only reason why Alexa did that was because she was jealous of Mickie. And Mickie says to Alexa that come Elimination Chamber, she's going to come after the Raw Women's title. So it was a pretty decent backstage segment with Alexa and Mickie. Then we had Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose versus Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. This match was meh. Didn't really care for it. It was just, your typical women's match. You had Alexa and Mickie did pretty decently in the match. But Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose got the win with Mandy Rose laying out Mickie James. Then you had after the match, Absolution. They beat down on Mickie. And Alexa then comes in and saves Mickie James from Absolution. Which, I was thinking that Nia Jax was going to come out and take out Absolution, Alexa, and Mickie, because they're all in the women's Elimination Chamber match. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. So, but all in all, it was just a typical women's match. Was meh to me. And then we had Elias out there. Elias was cutting a promo. He was out there singing a new song that he wrote about the Elimination Chamber. The crowd ends up booing him, not wanting, to hear him sing. But he continues, talking and singing about the participants in the Elimination Chamber. And then what was really funny, that was, pretty boring, with Elias out there. But what made it entertaining was Braun Strowman was out there. He was parrying Elias because he had this instrument. He had a bass instrument out there, and he starts singing, which Braun actually sings pretty decently. And so Braun ends up singing, saying that he is not finished with Elias, and that when the song is over, when he stops singing, he's gonna get, Elias is gonna get these hands. And we see Braun Strowman comes down with the bass, wanted to attack Elias with it. And Elias was like, Elias wanted Braun and him to put their instruments down, which they both end up doing. So Strowman ended up putting the bass down. Elias ended up putting his guitar down. And just, when Elias puts down his guitar, he just goes running. He just goes after Braun. And he almost ends up hitting Braun with the guitar again. Braun actually stops him, gives him a chop, and he then just lays out Elias with a running power slam. And then we see Braun take the base. We see Elias is crawling on the stage. And then we just see Strowman hit the base onto Elias. Elias was pretty much, not moving after that. But it was a enjoyable segment thanks to Braun Strowman. I thought it was really funny, how he's out there parrying Elias. And, Strowman ended up singing, pretty decent. He was a decent singer. So, but it was entertaining segment, thanks to Strowman. If it wasn't for him, it would have just been another Elias boring segment, with him in the ring singing. So, but it was entertaining. Sorry about that, but next we move on to the next match. It was Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. And this was a decent match. It was entertaining. In my opinion, it was back and forth between the both of them. You had, at the end of the match, Sheamus was going, leapt off the top, and then Roman Reigns just speared the hell out of Sheamus to score the win. So Roman Reigns ends up winning the match. But it was a decent match. It was an enjoyable match between them. It was entertaining. And then after that, we had the main event, which originally was a second chance fatal 4-way match, and it was originally supposed to be Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy, Finn Balor, and Apollo Crews. But then, early in the night, Seth Rollins wanted to be in the match, so it went from a fatal 4-way to a fatal 5-way. And the match itself, it was a good main event. It was a good fatal 5-way. Sorry about that again, but I was saying it was a good main event, good fatal 5-way match. It was back and forth between them, and you had Bray Wyatt actually suplexing all 5 guys who was in the match, which was good. And then you had Finn Balor. The match ended with Balor and Rollins both pinning Bray Wyatt. And the match ended in controversy. So now, after Raw went off the air, there was like reports saying that Kurt Angle is now announced that 7 men are going to be in this Elimination Chamber match in 2 weeks at the pay-per-view. And so now it's going to be Strowman, Elias, Balor, Cena, Reigns, Rollins, and Miz. So those 7 men are going to be in the Elimination Chamber match in 2 weeks at the pay-per-view. So, but yeah, we all know probably Reigns is going to win it. Is going to win this chamber match. So, but that's what everybody has been. That's what everybody has been saying. But who knows? It could change, or they could, or WWE can go along with that. Which hoping it doesn't happen. So, but yeah. So all in all, the main event it was good up until the end with the whole controversy. With Rollins and Balor both pinning Bray Wyatt, because we didn't have a winner for it. So now it's going to be 7 men in the chamber. So, but anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow night for my SmackDown review and also the Mixed Match Challenge review, which will be, in the SmackDown video, like always. So I'll see you all tomorrow night.